Pi Beta, phi for me, Pi Beta, phi for you. Oh, hello. You just caught me practicing my sorority cheers. We'll talk about that in a minute. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me for Veg with Lisa live. I'm Lisa. This is definitely live, and these are some veg. Who knows what these veg are? Before we dive in, please let me know that you're here, that you can see me, that you can hear me. Type in the comments and say hi. Before we get started, I want to show you something so cool. I won this t-shirt at the River Arts District Farmers Market here in Asheville yesterday. Isn't that awesome? They were doing this really, really cool thing at the farmers market. Hi, Rob. Where if you guessed 3 veggies, you won a t-shirt. And I was like, oh my God, okay, this is so my game. I am in. But it was really cool. I thought maybe they were just gonna show us a veg and make us guess. But what they did is they had these boxes with like these little hand holes. They were secret. And you had to put your hand in and feel the vegetable. And then you had to guess what it was. The first one was really tricky, so I just held off. The second one was easy. It was beets. Joanne, hello. Beets have like those greens on the top, and they have those hairy roots. And the third one, what was the third one? I don't remember. Anyway, the first one was tricky because it felt like this, but it wasn't. It was a cucumber. And you know how I knew the difference? Because it had little prickly things, and it also had a little teeny little stem where I know zucchini grows on a big stem like this. Anyway, thank you all so much. It's great to see you. If you're just joining me, please type and say hi in the comments, even if you're watching the replay. Joe, we need to talk, don't we? Oh my goodness. I think I forgot to call you back. Anyway, so back to this Pi Beta Phi silly sorority cheer I was doing. This past weekend, I went to my sorority reunion at the University of Iowa. Don't judge me, it was the 80s. Yes, we wore plaid jumpers, had big hair, and did a lot of singing and jumping and eating a lot of yucky food. That's my point. When I went back this past weekend, we did all those fun things again. We ate pizza and French fries and sandwiches and drank beer, and some people did shots, Palma. And guess what? Those things might work when you're 20, but when we get to be 40 and 50 and 60 and 70 and beyond, we have to change what we do. What used to work for us might not work for us anymore. It might for a short weekend, but not, if we want to still feel like we're in our 20s and 30s and our 40s, then we have to act differently. So, blah, blah, blah. What I want to show you is some really, really cool vegetables that you might not be aware of to encourage you to try some new things. Okay? Are we doing it? Are we in? Let's get going. First of all, this might not be new to any of you, especially if you're from Iowa where these grow to be the size of a football. Hi, Susan. This is a zucchini. Very familiar veg to most of us, probably. What about this? Isn't this absolutely beautiful? I don't even know what this is. It's some kind of summer squash, a crookneck, I would call it because of the crooked neck. I would say this is probably the same variety, but maybe a straight neck version. What do you think? I've got all of these beautiful, beautiful veggies on my plate. This is one of my favorites. It's a patty pan squash. So I wonder if any of you grow these squashes in your garden. Look at this. This is a different kind of little crookneck. And look at this beauty. Isn't this so cool? This is sometimes called a costata romanesca. In Iowa, I would call it a striped zucchini. So again, we might be familiar with this, but look at all, let me turn you down here. Look at all of these other beautiful varieties of summer squashes that we could cook with. Again, try something new, try something different. If you're used to this, try this. Yeah? Okay. So much fun. Let me pick aside a couple that I'm going to cook with, and I'm going to show you what to do because since these might be weird to you, you might not know what to do with them. So that's why I'm here. I'm not going to bother with these two. This is pretty much just like this on the inside because you all know about that. But I am going to show you what to do with these. And this beautiful patty pan is one of my very favorites. And then we'll get one of these little ones going on here. Oh, you know what? What the heck? I'll cut into this one too. Emily, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. You look like a monkey and you smell like a zoo. Oh, I'm just kidding. I love you. Happy birthday, Emily. Hee hee hee. Okay, here we go. Let me get all of my veggies out here and show you what to do with them. So again, this is not just another beautiful cooking show. I want to encourage you to try some things differently so that we can continue to evolve and feel good as we age. So, as with most things, I like to use a big, heavy, if I'm sauteing, which is what I'm going to do with these summer squash, a nice, heavy cast iron skillet, a little drizzle of olive oil. You could use avocado oil. Those are my two main oils of choice. And then also very seasonal at the farmer's market right now. This is a spring onion. So if this were left in the ground, it might grow into a big red bulb of a red onion, but I really like these little spring ones. So if you don't know what to do with that, it's super simple. You chop that off. This goes in your compost. And I'm going to chop this off. You could save these to put in other things. However, since I like to make veggie stock, I'm going to save those, Bernadette, to put in my veggie stock. Ellie, you missed it. I sang your sister happy birthday already. Okay, so you could use any kind of onion if you want, and you don't actually have to use any kind of onion at all. But I like the mild flavor of these little spring onions in my saute skillet. Then this is really, really cool. Ellie, did you wish your sister a happy birthday? This is really cool. This is, I already cut into this. It used to look like this. Isn't this funny? This is a spring garlic. So instead of the garlic being dried, it's fresh out of the ground like this. So I'm going to add a little bit of this to my saute skillet. Again, if you have regular garlic, you could use that. You don't have to use this kind of garlic. And if you don't like the taste of fresh garlic at all, or raw garlic, or a lot of garlic, unlike the birthday girl, you could use a little sprinkle of garlic powder when we're done. Oh my gosh. Okay, Ellie says her sister Emily always wanted a watermelon instead of a cake. I love that. I absolutely love that. Watermelon with some big candles stuck in them. Cousin Mildred, are you on from Wales? Susan, is Mildred on? Okay, so this fresh garlic, this fresh garlic is a little milder, so you don't have to worry about putting too much in, quite as much, and you don't have to worry about it being in smaller chunks. Okay, shall we get into this costata romanesco fancy striped zucchini squash? Let's do, because you know what, before I do that, I want to put in a little pepper. I actually, red pepper would have been really pretty for some color variety, but since this is kind of a yellow theme, I decided to go with yellow, and I've already got some of that chopped, so I'm going to put that in my skillet. You wouldn't have to put any of those things in, they're optional. All right, let's get into this stripy zucchini squash. You're going to chop the ends off. That'll go in your compost. Bernadette, don't put like squash stems in your stock unless you're making a squash soup. Look, looks just like a zucchini, doesn't it? Oh yeah, totally looks just like a zucchini. So when these are picked in a reasonable fashion, the seeds aren't too big, so you can just put those in. Oh, I better get some, where's my spoon? I got some action going. Oh, do you hear that? Just in case. I know it's so hard to believe this is live, but you can hear my aromatics sizzling away. I like to cut them in half and then go like this. Hi, Barbara. You know what? Actually, I'm really glad I added this green squash because it'll give me a little bit of color into what otherwise would be a pretty yellow skillet. Isn't that pretty? I'm going to put that in the skillet with my onion, my garlic, and that's it. Now, this is probably the next hardest, so I'm going to do it. I love these little baby patty pans. Aren't they cute? Sometimes they come in little teeny ones. They get bigger. Again, when we eat our summer squash or purchase or pick our summer squash a little bit on the younger side, the seeds aren't so big, and I think that's more desirable. So I would cut this like this, chop that off. Again, put that in the compost unless you're going to make squash soup or squash risotto. Doesn't that sound good? These babies would probably be really beautiful in squash risotto. So I am intentionally keeping this cooking. What are these called, Emily? These are called patty pan squash. Bernadette, you made it live. It's great to see you. I'm talking about you and making squash, or talking about stock. These are called patty pan squashes. They come in all different colors, white, yellow, green. I love them. The flavor is really nice and delicate. Yeah. So again, I'm keeping this preparation very, very simple because I hear a lot of talk about, oh my God, I can't cook and I blah. It's okay. You don't have to cook. I want to show you how simple it is just to buy fresh seasonal ingredients and toss them in a skillet with whatever you've got on hand. And if you don't have access to a local farmer's market, go to your grocery store, right? Or order from Amazon, whatever. These are gonna likely be in season now for most of us in the Northern Hemisphere. So the patty pan squash goes in. And then does anybody know what these little cuties are called other than just crookneck? I think they're darling. It's like a little football on the end. So I'm gonna leave these in the rounds. I also like to keep the different varieties in their own little shape. That's just my kind of weird thing because when I'm eating it, I like to go, oh, that's a round crookneck, and then put it in my mouth. Or, oh, that's a stripy zucchini, and put it in my mouth. And then you can tell what kind it is by the shape. Isn't that fun? So I'm going to keep these whole, except for that stem end. Toss them in. Now does anybody know what these are? These are really, really cool and beautiful. I have no idea what variety these are. I would call this a crookneck, and I love it because it's got the green on the end. These also make a really delicious velvety cream of squash soup. Notice I said cream because I wouldn't personally use cream. I would use like a non-dairy milk or maybe a little potato. Oh, I digress. I get so excited about all these. Okay, again, super simple, nothing to it. Let's see what shape. Oh, I haven't chosen a diagonal shape yet. Or you might call this the bias, right? If you are a sewer or a quilter. Susan, am I right about that? I like things on this little diagonal shape like that. Isn't that fun? So let's These are good for you. You may notice that I haven't mentioned the nutritional value of these summer squash. Again, I'm going to add a little bit of salt here. I'm kind of doing that on purpose because I don't want us to get too sidetracked. What I want you to think about today is simply trying some new things, doing something different from, what you did in your 20s when you were at college. I always say I used to wear frosty blue eyeshadow. I don't anymore, right? Things change. We have to change. Well, we don't have to do anything, but if you want to feel good as you get older, try some different things. And we need a variety of plants to have a healthy gut. End of story. Yeah? So I'm just going to bring this on here so I can show you there is absolutely nothing to it. Aromatics, onion, garlic, some bell pepper if you have it. I've got, I don't know, I lost count, 3 kinds of summer squash, 3 or 4 kinds of summer squash in there. Isn't that beautiful? A little bit of olive oil, salt and pepper. Okay, let me show you one pan I've already made so you can see what this looks like. And I've got a little surprise for how to finish it. So look at that. Isn't that cool? Last week I did the white episode, so this might be the yellow episode. Isn't that pretty? And then I am gonna, since it's lunchtime here, I'm gonna have this for lunch. Jimmy Spears, is that you? Hi. So just a little bit of sauteed summer squash on my plate. And remember, yes, it's really, really good for you. It's got vitamins A, B6, C, folate. It's a really good source of magnesium. Lisa, hey, a really good source of magnesium. Very, very, actually I think I mean manganese. That's kind of confusing. Very, very low calorie. I hope you're not counting calories anymore. If you are, we need to talk. High water content. A lot of these squashes are like up to 90% water. I miss your face too, which is really great in the summer when it's hot and we have a tendency to get dehydrated. I'm getting off track again. Oh, I just noticed I've got my yellow shorts on for the yellow squash episode. All right. Here's my sauteed squash. I got a surprise for you, Emily. I would finish it for somebody's birthday lunch with some beautiful edible flowers. Look at this. Did you know that pansies are edible? Isn't that pretty? Let's break this poor little pansy apart. And I love thyme with squash. I pulled this right out of my garden, just some fresh thyme. You could use basil. I like this because it's got these little purple flowers too. Isn't that sweet? And what else have I got in here? Oh, this is a nasturtium leaf. And probably another little grinding of fresh cracked pepper. And oh, this little viola is going, pick me, pick me. So I'm gonna put the viola on there as well. All of this in honor of Emily's birthday lunch. Okay, let's give this a go. I'm gonna eat that viola too. It's delicious. I love the time with the summer squash. Remember, what worked for you when you were 20 may work for you still, it may not. What worked for you when you were 30 may work for you, may not. Personally, I know as I've gotten older, I want to be really mindful about eating lots of different vegetables and fruits, different varieties, up to 30 to 40 a week for a healthy gut. And it just helps me feel better, makes my skin glow, and helps me keep my girly shape. So I want to know, type in the chat, what are you going to try new this coming week? And I'm going to check in with you all on next week, Veg with Lisa Live. Thank you so much for joining me. Happy birthday to Emily. I hope you got a big old fat juicy watermelon for your cake. And pi, pi, beta, phi, P-A-P-H-I, pi, phi. See you next week.